New attacks on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz yesterday as President Trump says he is pursuing a definitive end to the conflict with Iran. Even Vice President Vance now says the regime's leaders are difficult to read.
The Iranians sometimes make commitments that they don't honor. They make a deal, they don't honor the deal. And I understand your point about the seesaw nature of this, but I think what that reflects is that we have a lot of tools at our disposal to compel action. We're using those tools very selectively, very strategically to get the outcome that the President of the United States needs to get for the benefit of the American people.
Let's bring in Robert Harward, former CENTCOM Deputy Commander and retired U.S. Navy SEAL. Admiral, it's great to have you with us today. I think JD Vance is the master of understatement when he says sometimes the Iranians make a deal that they don't honor. I mean, when do they ever make a deal that they honor?
John, you're exactly right. They've never made a deal. They're not going to do anything unless it benefits them. And in this case, nothing's benefiting them at the moment. And the financial strategy the Vice President talked about earlier today has been a very good strategy. I think that's what they're going to continue to press. In fact, I think there's a lot more they can do in that regard. But this has been 6 months now, and Iran's basically gone without any money over 6 months. Now, they had a slight reprieve when we had the ceasefire, and they were able to move about 55 million barrels of oil. But financially, they're just being devastated, and the long-term impact to their oil generation is also being impacted by this. So time is really playing out on the president's behalf this time. So we're going to have to let this play out a little bit more and see how this financial strangulation impacts the decision-making of this regime.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because, the price of oil is still hovering on, low 80s a barrel. Gas is around $4 a gallon. I mean, it's above where it was this time last year, but it's not exorbitant, except in places like California. So how long do you think the president can maintain the status quo here, put the squeeze on Iran, and just kind of sit back and watch it happen before he has to take some sort of drastic action? Or do you think the regime might fall apart by then?
I think it's at the risk of falling apart, John. I think you've captured it exactly right. Time is on his side. This, without going out money, he has time to go into the midterms. And we've kind of reached this status quo. Some ships are getting through, oil's flowing, the world economy's kind of taking it into account now. So I think that plays out into his time calculus. And I think there's more things he can do. He can shut down their airspace. He can shut down their borders. So he can even tighten this loose a lot more and do what the Iranians have done. Asymmetric warfare, feed the insurgency, feed an intelligence campaign inside the country. So again, time is on his side. And the concern, I think, by a lot of planners at this point, will Iran do something, are they massing assets? Are they going after something like a catastrophic event to try to change that calculus? And if it gets dire enough, that's an indication of how bad off they are. So that's the point everyone's preparing for. But we can sit tight right now and let them suffer while the world continues to march forward.
There was an interesting moment in Will Kane's interview with Vice President JD Vance yesterday in which Vance seemed to suggest that the goalposts have changed in terms of what they're trying to achieve in Iran. Listen here.
That's goal number one. Keep oil and gas cheap for Americans all over our country. And then obviously goal number two is ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. I feel confident we're accomplishing both of those goals, but it's inherently an unpredictable thing because the Iranians themselves are unpredictable and they sometimes don't honor the commitments they've made to us.
So it's interesting. Oil prices weren't an issue before this Iran conflict. Iran's nuclear program was the issue. Now oil's the issue and the nuclear program's kind of in the back burner.
Well, it's both of those and more. Don't forget the funding of the surrogates, the missile and drone threats. As they always said, when the JPOA was signed, none of those issues were addressed. They know that has to be contended with as well to ensure long-term stability and security in the region. And I think the difference here is playing out this economic card, really going as far as possible to change the internal dynamics of Iran. So I think that's what's different now. Yeah. The realization that they're going to have to get to that end state for the behest of everyone in the region and our allies and us.
Admiral, I want to ask you quickly just about reports of low morale and increased suicidal ideation aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. The president said it's going to be swapped out soon, but CENTCOM pushed back against that reporting, saying this. One report alleged 7 sailors died in a brawl aboard the aircraft carrier, and others have recently suggested a spike in suicidal ideations. These reports are false. No service members aboard the aircraft carrier have died, and the one sailor who fell overboard on August 3rd was quickly and safely recovered. The rampant misreporting on Abraham Lincoln's historic deployment is a disservice to our men and women in uniform and their loved ones. You know, as a SEAL, you've been aboard all these ships. What do you say?
Well, not only as a SEAL, I was a surface warfare officer. So I did 6-month, 7-month deployments on ships. It's a tough business, but again, we've never had a better force than any time in our history. Better trained, better educated, better selected. And the American people now more than ever recognize the sacrifice of these sailors and their families, and they're doing more than they ever have before to support them. So I agree. It's a negative narrative that does nothing to recognize the sacrifices these sailors and our families make.
I was going to say my wife was embedded aboard the Lincoln back in the Iraq War, and she says she's never met a finer group of people, some of whom remain friends to this day, including the Artemis II commander. Admiral, great to catch up with you. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to see you, John.
All right, now this.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.